Welcome back to another video, guys. Laying in bed butt naked at like 8 a.m. and I've been lowballing this guy for like four or 5 months. I had my account lowball him, offer him trades, check up on it. Another account lowballing him. Basically, he called us stupid the whole time, and then I was like, all right, whatever, I'll just leave it alone. And then today I was like, man, will you take X amount of dollars? He said, if I accept, when can you get it? I freaking jumped out of bed. I said, I'm on my way. We're expected to get there probably around 5, and then probably get home around 11 or 12. And then my little white ass gotta wake up at 3 a.m. and go to work for some OT. See, this is where we're gonna get some mixed opinions. I posted about wanting to trade one of my cars for this car, or one of these specific examples, and everybody said, no, keep the one you have, keep the one you have. So this might be a little interesting, probably some mixed opinions about it, but it's one of the colors that I can't get out of my mind. I switch back and forth. I play musical chairs in my head about what color car I want, and right now I'm sitting in the seat of Imola Red, so I gotta get it. Imola Red and E46 M3 or E39 M5. It's been calling my name for too long. Mispronounced it a few times, but we are here now. We're on the way to Cali. Got the cash in the car. Got a bunch of tools and fluids because, well, let's be real. If it's on this channel, it's a freaking piece of junk. So we're gonna go try to pick it up. Hopefully lowball him a little bit more in person, and hopefully take this thing home. Hopefully it's not a piece of junk and I don't waste my time. I'm gonna try to control myself. If it is really that bad, I'm gonna do my absolute best to pass on it. Let's get to Cali, and hopefully we'll see what happens. Who would dare to put that much money into a 6 Series or a convertible? That's fresh. That's what we're here to buy. Oh, shoot. Man, I don't know about this one, big dog. Imola Red, absolutely beautiful. This particular car, I don't know about this. It has like, it's under minimum oil. It sounds like there's something knocking and ticking right now, but it's hard to tell because of the oil level. Third gear is grinding under load. The rear quarters have some issues because they're so low.
It's flipping. It's heads.
I'm about to have so much road rage on the way home right now. We are at the beach right now. I'd be a vibe right now if I didn't have to go to work. I gotta wake up at 3 a.m. We're gonna get home around 12-ish. Okay, all right. God damn, pinche tortitas. Hey, give me her at. For me later, guys, I'm gonna blur that out. Anyways, hey, screenshot that.
I already swiped it.
Go back! Okay, all right, anyways, that was the nicest color I've ever seen in my entire life. That was probably the nicest color I've ever seen on a car. Imola Red, I was in love with it before. Wait, I was saying all this shit? I literally went and looked at an E39 M5 and Imola Red. It just was the biggest shitbox I've seen in my entire life. Unfortunately, I thought white cars were cursed. Nope. Never mind, actually I'm starting to have a conclusion. The consensus is I'm cursed. Everything I look at is a piece of shit. I don't know if it's what I'm looking for. I don't know if it's because I'm broke and it's just what it's in my budget. I don't know what the cause is, but every time I go look at a car, it's a piece of shit, literally. And I hate to say this about my little baby, but we're sitting in one that was in the same scenario. I flew all the way to Indiana to buy this shit, and it broke on the test drive. And I still bought it. I still bought it. But so I recorded a little clip in the car. Unfortunately, I didn't get any on the outside because I don't know, I just felt weird about, hey, can I record your car real quick? I'm not gonna buy it, but can I record it? But I'll throw in some pictures right here. Third gear, like anything above like 2,000 or 3,000 RPM would grind. Anything below that, it seemed perfectly fine. The shifter didn't seem too bad. It wasn't that sloppy. Definitely had a short shifter. They probably replaced the bushings as well. But unfortunately, the car was slammed, absolutely slammed. And both the rear quarters were pretty much rubbed through and pulled. Unfortunately, I believe the driver's side, no, the passenger side quarter panel, where it's been rubbing, it looks like it cracked the entire quarter, and it looks like it's rusting underneath. Same thing on the driver's. The car wasn't as low on the driver's side, but unfortunately, it looked to be bubbling, so I'm not sure. Under the gas cap, you could see some runs in the paint, so you can definitely see. I think that it was repainted. I don't ever believe it would come from factory like that, or I don't know what they were doing inside the gas cap, unless they did some rust repair or just something like that. I tried to look up the VIN and I decoded it, and it did not tell me whether it was factory manual or not. For some reason, that option was missing, so that's a little interesting. But it just had a bunch of little weird quirks. The interior looked like it was outside, dry rotting basically. It looked like it sat outside for quite some time. So at the end of the day, it was knocking a little bit. It just sounded chattery. Valve train was very, very, very loud. It was also way below the minimum oil level. It was literally like barely not even showing up on a rag. So it was extremely loud, and driving, you could hear chattering, if not knocking. The quarter panels were messed up. Somebody hit the front end and it needed a new bumper. Hood was misaligned, trunk was misaligned. And I don't think it was in an accident. It didn't look like it. It looked like someone had a CSL trunk and didn't reline up the OEM one. And the front end, the hood got very slightly hit, so it seemed a little pushed in. But it looked like it was pretty straight and savable, but it definitely for sure needed a bumper. So it needed body work. It 100% needed the maintenance and needed the big three. All three of the big three were unknown. So it was just thing after thing after thing. The car was for $12,000 and Emola red with manual impulse cloth seats. It was on TEs, but unfortunately, there's just so many little things that would have needed to be addressed. It's extremely hard to kind of say it's worth it. If I didn't have the Alpine white one at home, I would 100% be driving that little piece of junk home. The thing is too, transmission's like $2,000 for another used one. Interior would have been $3 or $4,000. Maintenance would have been probably $10,000 after everything. I would have been in the car like 25 to 30 grand, and it would have just been E46 M3 that's factory with 208,000 miles. So I don't think it would have been realistic to invest that much money into it. And I was having PTSD of you guys making fun of me. So of every other car I buy. So for once, I want to buy a car and you guys be proud of me. So you guys are like my dad that I never had. I just want you to be proud of me. So I walked away again. This is my second time having an Emola red car at the fingertips of my, and I did not buy it. So I hope you guys are proud of me. Please. I wish I bought it. Man, I want to go back. So if anybody has an Emola red E46 M3 for sale, please DM me expeditiously. I am your guy. If you have Emola red E46 M3 or E39 M5, I will do anything for you. Please, please let me know. This video was a bust, so we're gonna bust a mission, and then I'm gonna bust a nut and then go to sleep. So I'm probably going the wrong way because it doesn't look like the way I came. I don't even want the M3 anymore. I want this thing. That is the freshest thing I've seen in the whole world. And he's got LED lights on the dash.
He still got his tailgate.
He's got doors. He's got double doors for a tailgate. Plus, he got the roof and the dome on top. He got a glass roof, double doors, LED lighting. home in the office. I came down with a little bit of corona, so we're gonna have to go ahead and deal with that. But let's talk about going to get the E46 M3. So like I discussed in the video, the car was just completely trashed. So all of you know, I won't shut up, about Imola Red. So I've been trying to get Imola Red E39 M5, and now for some reason I am hooked on Imola Red E46 M3. So I love Alpine White. I wanted a white F80 for the absolute longest, and I got that. And then it happened that Alpine White E46 M3 popped up for sale, and I was in awe. I love Alpine White, but now I have 3 white cars, and I want something different. I love Avis Blue, and I knew that car was going to be a temporary placeholder. I've always wanted Imola Red, or strangely, I would love an Alpine White E39 M5. I don't know. I'm sorry you guys got to put up with me. Like an indecisive female that doesn't know where she wants to eat. But unfortunately, it's with cars and it's kind of expensive. And I put myself in a lot of bad deals trying to figure out what color I actually want. And I'm still undecided. So I want Imola Red E46 M3. I want Imola Red E39 M5. And like I said in the video, there was an E46 M3 Imola Red that I've been after or had my eye on for about 6 months. And then he finally accepted my offer. He said the car was mechanically good. And he was like, the big 3 aren't done, but mechanically the car is good. It's a driver, has cosmetic flaws. It's not perfect, but it'll be good. So I was like, okay. I was like, that's good enough for me. So we got there, and immediately the quarters, I don't think it was Bondo, but it looked like they had completely cracked and it was starting to rust. The other one was bubbled. They looked like they got pulled and kind of flared out, which was kind of terrible. The one side was much lower, and that was the side that was kind of buckled and flared out, and the other side had the giant bubble. So I don't know what was going on with the car. I tried to look up the VIN while I was there, but I kind of already knew I was going to pass on it, so I didn't go crazy in depth with looking into it. But yeah, so besides the cosmetic damage, the rear quarters were really the big problem. The front bumper and the hood was whatever, because that can be easily fixed and replaced. But the quarter panel, not so much. So the car was absolutely slammed. It was on TEs, which kind of helped the price, because if you figure out, one TE had a pretty big chip in it. I don't know how, but it did. And they're probably like still like a $2,000+ set of TEs. So the car was really only going to be like 10 grand. But transmission was grinding, and if they're like E39 M5, you cannot rebuild them. So I would have had to buy another trans, put that in my car. That would have been like $3,000 worth itself, because you're not going to do a trans without doing clutch and flywheel, shifter bushings, all new fluid, rear main seal, everything else. It would have been like $3,000 or $4,000 at the end of the day. And then you're still with an engine that has no rod bearings, no vanos, no subframe reinforcement on the chassis, literally nothing. So it seemed like a giant gamble. And I mean, I'm explaining this to you guys, and I already know you guys wouldn't have wanted me to get that car. You guys pretty much hate everything I buy, and I'm kind of in the same boat as you. But I mean, we're gonna have to do something. So I gotta keep making content for you guys, and the easiest content is to buy another car. So yeah, it's the problem is that I want to do these big services, and I want to do a full engine out rebuild. I would love to do repaint the engine bay. I would love to do all these giant big jobs, but with how fast we're kind of going through cars and not really staying on one, I haven't found the right car that I said, okay, this is the one that I want to keep. At first, I think it's that one, and it still might be this one. I'm not too sure, but now I have my eyes on Imola Red E46 M3s. So my attention span is like a 10-year-old, and I need some Adderall to stay focused, but I just can't. So these cars are beautiful, and all these colors are beautiful. So I want to enjoy all of them while I can before I settle down and just pick one to stay with forever. I'm sure a lot of you understand, probably on your 3rd or 4th marriage, 3 baby mamas. So I think all of us are in the same boat. It just depends on what category or what kind of boat you're in. Mine is just really shitty M cars. So the car was a piece of junk. He wouldn't go lower, and I ended up walking away because I knew you guys would make fun of me. And you know what? I felt like being in a good mood, not getting made fun of, so I didn't buy the car. But I did make a post on like 3 different communities asking for someone to trade for Imola Red for my Alpine, or if they had a high mileage one that I would buy it. And I did find an example that is high miles, big 3 done. It's Imola on Imola, but the only way he'll sell it is if he takes out the Imola interior and puts in black, which I'm not a fan of. But for the price point, it's really not bad. It's in my budget. It's big 3 done. It's Imola Red. It looks great. It looks pretty factory fresh. The only problem is 17 hours away. But I've been dying to go to Washington or Oregon and experience something different. So the car is in Washington. So it's kind of like everything kind of seems right. Not too sure though. So this car is for sale, and we are impatiently waiting for it to sell. So if anybody wants this thing, 10 grand, throw me a reasonable offer. Come take this thing off my hands. The E39 M5 is posted for sale as well. I'm getting like 14, 15K offers, which is a little low. I understand the condition, but I think it's just a little bit low because for 14 or 15 grand, I can't replace that car. I'm not gonna find that colorway with that interior or the parts on it. I'm just not gonna be able to find it again. So that's why I haven't accepted those offers yet, but I got cash from the bank on hand. So if something does pop up, we will go get it. We'll go get it right away pretty much. So I'm gonna live on Marketplace for the next few weeks and we're gonna continue content a little bit as usual. It's probably gonna slow down, unfortunately. I really don't want it to, but without spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on car parts and then doing major services, it's gonna slow down a little bit. So we'll see what I can find locally. We'll see what parts I can find secondhand. We'll see what cars I can buy. Looking for some parts cars, looking for some stuff. A couple things did pop up, but they sold right away. I was at work. I didn't have the time to go get it. Missed out on some good deals. There was an E46 M3 that had rod knock, but was still running and driving. He wanted 5 grand for it. It was a complete car. I was trying to get it, and it was local. I just didn't get the time off of work. I was lowballing him, just poquito. He didn't accept it, but it ended up selling. And then there was a Z3 or 4M, I think a 3M. It was 2006. It was for sale in Phoenix from an impound auction. $3,500 for S54 6-speed Z3 or 4M, whatever it was. And that sold literally the same hour. I was hitting them up. I was gonna go get it ASAP, but it sold right away. So unfortunately, I didn't get either one of those examples. So I'll keep my eye open. I'm gonna keep Marketplace open. I go on there all day anyway. So I will be doing my searching and finding some cars. But for the rest of the video, I will throw in some clips because I just did a little bit of service on the E46 M3. So we got an oil change, spark plugs, and took it for a quick drive. Car actually felt way better. Car felt pretty fast. So let's see that now. This order consists of a bunch of random things, and it was actually 2 orders because I messed up. So when I did my F80 M3 lowering springs, my dust boots were absolutely destroyed, and I felt terrible leaving it like that. And since I was ordering, I had these saved in my cart. Been meaning to order them, finally have. So I have the dust boots for the front, and then I have little strut mounts that go in there and just kind of hold it in place. My license plate bracket has some janky screws in it, and I saw this randomly and I was like, you know what, might as well just order a new bracket. It's like 30 bucks. Came with the 2 sets of screws. I ordered an OEM M3 filter for the E46. I saw some better reviews with the actual original filter versus Male or Man or anything else that's actually coming up. So ordering the genuine BMW one wasn't much more expensive, and I did my service on the F80 M3. I did not like how the charge pipe was seating. So I went ahead and ordered this charge pipe, basically O-ring kit. It should cover the charge pipes, the O-rings on the upper and on the bottom side, and should help them seal a little bit better. So we have 4 O-rings here. And then for this order, I typed in best M3 spark plugs while I was at work, and the form immediately went to this. And I was like, yep, let's go ahead and order those. And I was like, wait a minute. Those don't seem too right. And then I went on the FCP Euro after I ordered, and it said they did not fit. And then I looked back on the form, and if you actually go onto the form and read through it, he said, I thought you had a normal E46, not an M3. So I went ahead and ordered again, and I'm gonna try Motul. I've never used this, unfortunately. I've been using Liqui-Moly for the past couple years, and I don't know. The engine sound like a little bit louder. My F80 M3 was much quieter with whatever oil it came with. I did an oil change with Liqui-Moly, and it's definitely a little bit louder. So I wanted to try Motul in the E46 M3. There's a lot of good reviews. And then I know for F80 chassis, everyone really uses Motul. So I'm gonna try in the E46 M3 first because it's due for an oil change. And then if I like it, it'll go to the F80. And then I ordered the actual correct spark plugs. So now we have a random set. And then this set, it was the engine oil drain bolt. That is very small. So I'm not sure if that's actually gonna be correct. If not, I guess we're gonna have base E46 spark plugs and a random drain bolt. We are done. The oil is added into the car. We changed out the drain bolt, put all new gaskets and washers onto the filter. Everything's in the car. I'm gonna let the oil settle for a little bit and then check the dipstick. I highly recommend, if you're gonna use one of these wide containers, don't change your oil without a funnel. It is miserable. It gulps and it just allows way too much air to actually enter, and it is a pain getting it out. Even with a funnel, this thing was sitting there spewing out oil. So definitely change your oil with a funnel. The Liqui-Moly ones aren't that bad. I have a collection of dirty oil that I need to drop off. I've been lagging. I'm really not hearing much of a big difference in the valve train or the drivetrain noise. It sounds relatively the same. I know these engines are definitely louder. They are quite ticky for what they are, especially being a high mileage engine. I don't really hear a big difference or really a difference at all. I think it'll be more noticeable driving. It just sounded a little bit loud before, but I knew my oil was quite thin from the road trip, the miles, and just needed to be changed in general. Now that it is changed, it's a little bit better. Just gives me a little bit better feeling and knowing that the car has some fresh oil in it and some actual clean oil. So we'll see how the Motul holds up against Liqui-Moly. It shouldn't really be that big of a difference, but whatever it is, it's in there now, and we're giving it a shot. We are flashing into the future. I decided to not bore you guys with the randomness of the episode. I was cleaning up the garage, ended up going in the house after that. We have the fresh Motul oil in the E46 M3. We're going for a little bit of a drive. I went back into the garage after taking a little bit of a break, changed over to spark plugs. It was pretty quick. It was only like 30 minutes worth of work. So now we have fresh NGK spark plugs, the OE ones with the double prongs. Mine were very dirty. They were dirty and they were like sludged up. I don't know if it's the stuff they use to put them in, the grease or what, but it was super sludgy. But all the coil packs were actually dry, so I don't think there's anything leaking. I just think it's either what they used or I cannot tell you. But the car feels really good. It really didn't feel that bad before, but it definitely, it feels pretty good. Damn, this thing is clunking right now. I definitely want to get this car right. Every time I do a little bit something to this car, it makes me really want to get this car dialed in and actually make this into a nice car. So it for sure needs all new suspension. I still think it needs a steering rack. I still want to go through and do the power steering system. We replaced the pump, the reservoir, and the main hoses, but might as well, if I'm gonna do the rack, might as well refresh it and do the oil cooler and all the hard lines and just buy the kit. Then we can do some suspension and get some coilovers, and basically then that'll be dialed in. It'll steer good, it should handle pretty well, and that'll be a big project itself. But rod bearings and probably valve lash are gonna be for sure coming up in the future. I just want to get this car as dialed in as I can. I don't want to go crazy where I'm gonna spend 10 grand at least at once. Pretty sure over the time frame of owning this car, it's going to be well above that. But for right now, I'm going to keep throwing some good parts at it, stuff that I could just easily do and improve the car. But definitely have some big plans for some big maintenance, because I want to keep this car in good condition and do as much as we can to keep it healthy. But I enjoy driving this car. It's fun. I saw Stretton put I think the Recaro CS Sportsters, I think that's what they're called. I saw him put those in the E92 M3 and they look good. He was complaining about the same thing, where he doesn't really fit that well in the car, and those changed everything. So I'm looking into those. I definitely would want some of those for this, because I feel like I'm too high up and it's very uncomfortable. I love the look of the seats, but they just don't function like they should. So if you guys have experience with some of those, let me know down below, because I am definitely interested, and I want to get something that's going to be OEM plus looking, functioning, and just be a lot better driving position. So if you guys have experience with that, let me know, because I am interested. But let's go ahead and enjoy a little bit more of a drive with this car and see how the car is holding up. Definitely seems still a little bit noisy, but I don't know. It's a high mileage S54. I think they're all noisy at this point, but it feels really good for what it is. It definitely pulls pretty good for a little go-kart, basically what this thing is. I'm not sure if the tune's affecting it at all. I don't really know. I kind of want to take the tune off. I'm afraid of losing a little bit of horsepower, because this car is already slow enough. I don't want to make it slower, but I kind of want to take the tune off, reset everything back to the factory, and then just kind of dial it in from there. Maybe get it tuned later on myself, just so I know what's actually going on with the car. And I don't know, maybe the tune, I don't know how old the tune is. That's the thing too. So it could just be some really old tune that's not that great and it's not that good for the car. So we'll see what happens in the future. That's about it for this video, guys. I know it's kind of all over the place. I hate making videos where I don't end up getting something, I don't buy it.
We tried, right?
I tried.
We did our best. That's all
Well,
that
I did
matters.
my best. We tried.
Maybe next year we'll come back and try it
Maybe
again.
next year. I'll come back and I'll try it next year.
But sharing the experience, I already took the time, recorded it. I spent 13, 14 hours of my life trying to go there and get it. So might as well just put it out there for something to tide you guys over, or something to just put on the channel. I appreciate every single one of you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please text me. I'm desperate. Please let me know if you have Emola Red, anything, M5 or M3. Please text me. Let me know. I'm your guy. Don't post it on Marketplace. Don't let your friends lowball you. Let me lowball you, and I will buy your car. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will be back ASAP. Hopefully, my dreams can come true. And hopefully, I can stop buying different cars and selling different cars, and we can keep something for once. So, thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back ASAP with some more content, and we're going to get out of here. Later, guys.